Do you strive for everyone to like you, to be universally loved? Be careful. Machiavelli, the master of power strategy, warned centuries ago, love is fickle, but fear and the respect it commands is a much more solid foundation for those seeking real power and influence. You see, this incessant search for approval, this desire to be everyone's favorite, is a treacherous trap. For you, the ambitious professional, it's the paralyzing fear of making that difficult but necessary decision that could boost your career or bring order to the team, all for fear of a frown, a negative comment. The result? Stagnation. Your ascent is stifled by the need to please. And for you, who might feel more socially insecure, this same pursuit makes you an easy target. People perceive your need for validation and, like sharks smelling blood, exploit this vulnerability, manipulating you, making you give up your boundaries one after another until your own identity dissolves in an attempt to be a social chameleon. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the brutal truth that conventional self-help rarely dares to whisper. Why this need to be loved by everyone is, in fact, the kiss of death for your true ascent and personal power. You'll discover how the Machiavellian perspective can free you from this prison of popularity, transforming your approach to building genuine respect, making impactful decisions, and, ironically, achieving a form of influence far more lasting than any superficial affection. Machiavelli in The Prince wasn't writing a popularity guide. He was dissecting human nature and the dynamics of power. And one of his most counterintuitive and powerful observations is precisely about the fragility of love as a basis of power, especially when compared to the respect generated by firmness. If you want real results, it's time to listen to someone who understood results. Men, as he said, have less hesitation in offending one who is loved than one who is feared. Let's delve deeper into this pain. When you prioritize being loved above all else, the consequences are corrosive. Professionally, you become the nice guy, the one who never says no, who takes on extra work, who swallows insults to avoid conflict. But guess what? Nice guys are rarely promoted to real leadership positions. They are seen as malleable, not as figures of authority. You lose opportunities, your voice is silenced, and in the end, the respect you so crave vanishes, replaced by disguised condescension. Socially, the price is your autonomy. You mold yourself so much to others that you forget who you are. Your boundaries are non-existent. You attract exploiters who see your need to please as an open invitation to drain your energy, your time, your resources. The feeling is of constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of any misstep that might cost someone's approval. But why do we fall into this trap? It's not just weakness, it's conditioning. From an early age, we are taught that being nice is the key to everything. Furthermore, there's a primal fear of rejection, of ostracism, and crucially, there's a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of power and influence. We confuse affection with respect, popularity with authority. We believe that if everyone likes us, we will magically get what we want. The reality, as Machiavelli would point out, is far more complex and often the opposite. And what does the world tell you to do? Be more empathetic, build connections, find common ground. Don't get me wrong, empathy and connection have their place, but as primary strategies for those seeking advancement and respect in competitive environments or when facing difficult personalities, they are insufficient. They're like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Trying to be universally loved in a power game is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You just get burned, while those who understand the real dynamics advance. It is here that Machiavelli's cold, calculating wisdom becomes not just relevant, but essential. He offers us a different lens, a perspective that cuts through the noise of toxic positivity and shows us what truly works when it comes to lasting influence and power. Prepare yourself because we are going to challenge some deeply ingrained beliefs. The central Machiavellian principle here is brutally simple, yet profound. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Now, before you imagine a bloodthirsty tyrant, understand, Machiavelli isn't talking about gratuitous cruelty. Fear, in the modern context and for our purposes, translates to respect. A respect so solid that people will think twice before underestimating you, exploiting you, or disregarding you. Love, on the other hand, especially the kind universally sought, is fickle, based on fleeting emotions and, as Machiavelli observed, is held by a chain of obligation which, men being selfish, is broken whenever it serves their purpose. In Medici, the 16th century, Machiavelli wrote The Prince as a manual for rulers on how to acquire and maintain political power. He analyzed the success and failure of historical and contemporary leaders. He saw, time and again, that leaders who relied too heavily on popular affection were often overthrown when the winds of public opinion changed. Those who inspired a healthy fear based on their strength, decisiveness, and the certainty of consequences maintained order and control for much longer. In today's world, this fear isn't about inspiring literal dread. It's about being perceived as someone whose words carry weight, whose decisions are firm, whose boundaries are non-negotiable. It's about the certainty that you will act according to your principles and goals, even if it displeases some. The love. Machiavelli distrusted his superficial popularity, the need to be the nice guy or nice girl at all costs. This makes you predictable and, worse, disrespected by those who truly matter. Popularity is smoke, respect is stone. Think of a manager. Manager A wants to be friends with everyone, avoids difficult feedback, lets deadlines slide, laughs at jokes, even when inappropriate. The result? The team becomes complacent, standards drop, the most productive members get frustrated and leave. Manager B, on the other hand, is fair but firm, communicates clear expectations, demands results, makes unpopular decisions when necessary for the good of the team and objectives. They may not be invited to every happy hour, but their team respects them, delivers results, and knows exactly where they stand. Who do you think will have a more solid and impactful career in the long run? Who truly holds the power to lead? The first practical strategy is a radical detox, consciously detached from the need for universal approval. This is the foundation. As long as you're addicted to real-life likes, you'll be a puppet. Remember, whoever tries to please everyone impresses no one truly important. Why does this work? Because the search for approval makes you transparent. Your motivations become obvious. Manipulators read you like an open book. By detaching, you become an enigma. Your actions become guided by your own values and objectives, not by the audience's reaction. This gives you back control. Your mind calms, free from the noise of social anxiety, allowing for strategic clarity. How do you do this? First, identify the price of approval. Daily, ask yourself, what am I doing or not doing just to be liked? Write it down. You'll be surprised. Then assess the real cost. For each item, analyze what this quest for approval is actually costing you in terms of your goals, your time, your energy, your self-respect. Finally, practice calculated unpopularity. Start small. Say no to a request that would overwhelm you. Express a dissenting opinion, respectfully but firmly, in a low-stakes discussion. Observe the reaction. Usually, the world doesn't end. In fact, respect often increases. The trap here is to confuse detachment with hostility. It's not about being an arrogant jerk. That's the other extreme, equally ineffective. The goal isn't to be disagreeable for sport, but rather to be indifferent to superficial approval when your principles or objectives are at stake. The second trap is guilt. Society has programmed you to feel bad for not pleasing. Recognize this guilt, but don't act on it. Let it pass. Second strategy, reinterpret opposition and selective dislike as a compass. If you're making significant decisions, challenging the status quo, or simply excelling through competence, you will inevitably encounter resistance and even hatred from certain quarters. Instead of backing down, use it. Psychologically, this works because it inverts the fear of criticism. If the wrong people, the complacent, the envious, the defenders of a failing system don't like what you're doing, it can be a powerful indicator that you're on the right path. The hatred of the mediocre can be the applause of the potentially strong. This opposition also forces you to refine your arguments and strengthen your conviction. How to apply this? Start by analyzing the source of opposition. Who exactly is criticizing or resisting you? What are their interests? Do they represent values you reject? Next, validate your direction. If the opposition comes from where you expect, from those who benefit from inertia, injustice, or incompetence, consider it a green light. Also, don't engage with trolls. Distinguish constructive criticism, rare but valuable, from pure negativity. Ignore the latter. Your silence in the face of unfounded attacks can be your most powerful response. Finally, use resistance to attract allies. People with values similar to yours may be drawn to your courage in facing opposition. Be careful not to become a controversy hunter, seeking opposition just to feel validated. That's childish. Opposition should be a natural consequence of your significant actions, not the goal itself. Another trap is paranoia. Not every criticism is a personal attack or a sign that they're against you. Maintain the ability for self-assessment and know when a criticism, even a harsh one, has merit. Third and crucial strategy, build your reputation on the foundation of respect, not affection. And respect, in the Machiavellian sense, is born from the perception of your competence, your unwavering firmness, and fundamentally, your justice. Remember, love is fickle. Respect is a fortress. This is powerful because respect is a rational assessment of your ability and character, while affection is largely emotional and unstable. When people respect you, they take you seriously. They know your actions have consequences. They understand you won't be swayed by whims or social pressure. This predictability of your strength and justice creates an environment of clarity and security for those who are upright, and caution for those who are not. How to cultivate this respect? First, define your standards and adhere to them. Be clear about your principles and expectations for yourself and for others. And crucially, be the first to set the example. Second, make decisions based on logic and principles, not popularity. This can be difficult. It will involve displeasing some people. Make peace with that. Third, communicate with clarity and authority. When making a decision, especially an unpopular one, explain the why concisely and firmly, if appropriate. Don't apologize for doing what is necessary. And fourth, be just even when firm. If you need to apply a corrective measure or make a tough decision, ensure it's done fairly and, if possible, that the reasons are understandable, even if not pleasant. The main trap is confusing firmness with tyranny or coldness. Respect doesn't require you to be inhuman. You can be firm and still show appropriate consideration. The goal is to be respected, not feared in the sense of paralyzing dread. The latter breeds resentment and rebellion. Another trap is inconsistency. If your standards and decisions change with the wind, respect erodes quickly. So what have we learned? First, that the incessant pursuit of being loved by everyone is a recipe for mediocrity and manipulation, a poison to your ascent. Second, the central Machiavellian principle, respect, derived from firmness and the ability to be feared, in the sense of being taken seriously, is far more reliable than fickle love, and the strategies detach from the need for universal approval. Use the opposition of the wrong people as a compass for the right path, and build your reputation on respect, not affection. On the grand chessboard of life and career, trying to please everyone, as the saying goes, usually results in pleasing no one significantly. Worse, it makes you irrelevant. Neutrality is the refuge of the irrelevant. Machiavelli teaches us that true power doesn't lie in being universally adored. That's a childish fantasy. It lies in the ability to be effective, to achieve your goals, to lead with integrity and strength, even if it means some people won't like you. And you know what? That's liberating. The hatred or dislike from those who oppose your progress, your values, your excellence, can actually be a badge of honor. Your next step is a simple but powerful challenge. In the next 24 hours, identify one situation, however small, where you would normally give in to please or avoid discomfort. Instead, choose the action that aligns with your goals and principles, even if it's slightly unpopular. Feel the discomfort, but act. Observe the outcome, not the immediate result on someone's expression, but the result in your own sense of integrity and, in the long run, in the respect you command. Start training the muscle of calculated unpopularity. What's the biggest trap of the need to be loved that you've ever faced? And what unpopular but necessary decision do you know you need to make to move forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences enrich this community. And if you found this dive into Machiavellian wisdom useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we have many more strategies of power and mindset to unveil. Our next video will explore how to turn declared enemies into your greatest assets. You won't want to miss it. Remember, the world respects strength, not supplication.